Like what am I really thinking about? What am I really focused on? And am I so focused on work that I'm not focused on my family? Am I so focused on sports that I'm not focused on God's word? Well, and it's just so funny too. It's like, who's going to be the bigger cheapskate? Because the person that says, all right, yeah, I'm not doing 3, I'll do 2. It's like, okay, well, you're being cheap, and then what? So I'm gonna fight for the extra $1. So now I'm not willing to get rid of something because of $1. It's just the funniest thing.
If I want a golfer, it'd be Spieth. But if any other person, I'll toss in my wife. Yeah, I need a FaceTime from the wife. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
An athlete, Luke. Come on, man.
I'm a newlywed. I'm for sure saying my wife. Come on now. But
get out of here with that.
With hands down,
famous athlete that you want calling. If you're in Tony Finau's situation, who's popping up on the screen that you want?
Absolutely, the big German, Dirk Nowitzki, my sports hero. Oh, the hero of Dallas. I need him giving me a FaceTime as I enter in Sunday at Augusta.
Welcome to the Unpacking It Live podcast. I'm Bryce Johnson, excited to be with you as we unpack 2 Game 7s in the NBA playoffs, the U.S. Open, a lot of other NBA news, few NFL topics, but we're going to have some fun today. It was Father's Day weekend. I hit a golf ball for the first time in a couple of years. I'll fill you in on that. And I am thrilled to also welcome on the hero of the Atlanta Hawks win yesterday. That's right, Luke Heaton, Big Red, the star of the Hawks, is with us. Congratulations on that incredible performance. You carried the Hawks. Where's Luke at? Where is he? There he is. Wow. How great did you feel about your boy Herder just absolutely dominating yesterday? He gave the redhead so much.
Oh my gosh. I tell everyone, I'm always on my soapbox. Redheads are real hit or miss. Really hit or miss. So we take all of the awesome legendary redheads we can get. So he's part of the bloodline. I'm going to have to give him a shout out on social media, but an incredible representation of my fellow redheads. So proud.
Absolutely. So we'll get to more of the Hawks' big win over the Sixers. And in many ways, it was like the Sixers' loss, like what they did in this series to blow this series. Lot to discuss there. We'll do tap drill at the end with Henry. Some fun topics. We'll bounce around and tap around with him. We'll also do I'm Convinced here in just a moment. And we always love hearing from you, the community of sports fans, a part of Unpacking It. And so we want to know what you're convinced of from the sports weekend. What did you take away from the U.S. Open? I mean, what a story with John Rahm winning it. I like Rahm. I like the energy. I like the passion. I like the unique personality. That was a fun win for him. And then, of course, bouncing back from the DQ, the devastation that he felt just a couple of weeks ago to now win it. This is why we love sports. It's tremendous that you can't make these stories up. Hollywood can't write these scripts. I flip around over the weekend. We're trying to sit down and watch a movie. Nah. I mean, there's just the amount of or the lack of great movies out there is disappointing to me because I do love movies. But when you flip on sports, all the storylines are there, baby. They are there. Game 7s. I mean, both Game 7s were epic. To get an overtime Game 7 with the Nets and the Bucks. It doesn't get any better than this. The movie that we did land on was Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx.
Awesome very good. Very good.
It was a long movie, so we haven't finished it yet, but awesome movie. Look forward to finishing it. But anyway, the stories from sports, man, it's great. So follow us on all the social media. If you aren't already, we've even added a TikTok page with our young interns. We're getting a little younger. I'm the old guy here, but no, man, we're getting younger. We got some TikTok. I've never even been on TikTok. I don't even know what it is, but we're there. Unpacking It is there, so check us out. I'm all fired up coming off a wild weekend. We had our Man Up conference. I still haven't even changed our marquee behind us. And you may notice that the studio looks a little different from a lighting standpoint. I left the lights. We brought the lights from the studio to Man Up, and now we got to find them and bring them back to the studio. So, a lot of moving pieces going on. But the Man Up Charlotte Conference was fantastic. Thanks to everybody that watched online, or if you were there in attendance. It was so great to see you. Great to have you. The speakers were incredible. Mike Tolbert, Jericho Cotchery, Brian Goins, Mitch Mason, and then a ton of forum speakers really brought it. And it was just a special day. God moved in tremendous ways, and just a real treat to be a part of. And I'm thankful that it's over, because it was a lot of work, a lot of energy went into it. But when it's one of those things where it's not quite the emotional level of a wedding, but it's actually a lot of work to put on a conference. And so once it's over, it's like, all right, we did it. It was great. And now you start thinking, okay, we're gonna start preparing for next year. How do we follow up to this one? So that was wild. And then get this. So I'm actually leaving tonight on a plane. I'm heading to see Luke in Texas.
Come on.
I'm going to be speaking at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention later this week. But I'm going to be down there for a few days to be a part of the convention. And I think Luke, you're taking me out for dinner, right? You're going to take me to a special restaurant? We got a special mandate, or what? What are we doing?
Well, you'll get to meet the wife for the first time, and then we'll have to define what it means to really take out. We may be each be covering our own meals, but we will enjoy some serious fellowship.
Absolutely. No, we'll have a blast, and it'll be my treat. So looking forward to that. And all right, Luke, let's jump in though. Let's do what we're convinced of to start. And it's one of these Mondays where there's so much to get to. Where do we begin? But I want to look at the Milwaukee Bucks, because they were able to knock off the Brooklyn Nets with all the superstars. And if you listen to the show, you knew months ago I was not on the Nets bandwagon. I thought the addition of Blake Griffin made them a little bit more interesting. I was getting nervous that, they might make a deep run. But the injuries caught up with them. James Harden's lack of staying in shape affected his hamstring, which ultimately affected him in this series. He played pretty well later in the series, but missing a game or two definitely hurt them. But I want to focus on the Bucks. And we knew the last couple of years with Giannis and Chris Middleton, it was always like, they're a little short. They need something more. And Drew Holiday was so clutch. He was so important. And we'll talk about that during the Unpack This segment. But I want to talk about PJ Tucker, because I'm convinced the guys like PJ Tucker, the guys that come and do all the intangibles, I don't care about the stats. I don't care about his plus minus. I don't care about whatever stat you want to put on important players on a team. It always takes the guy that is willing to do the dirty work, the guy that brings the toughness. It doesn't always, you can't quantify it. But PJ Tucker was an addition to this year's team. Now, we knew that Giannis and Middleton had a ton of talent. And I think Drew Holiday coming to run the show, to be the point guard that they needed, who could hit a big shot in key moments. Even though PJ Tucker couldn't stop Kevin Durant, because let's face it, nobody can stop Kevin Durant other than his too long of a shoe. That's the only thing that stopped him from hitting the game-winning three. It was only a 2, of course. But here's the thing. When I look back at NBA champions, I think back to the important role that Dennis Rodman played on the Chicago Bulls teams. I think about Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, the important role that he played on the Kobe, Pau Gasol Lakers teams. I think about Andre Iguodala with the Golden State Warriors. And these are the types of players that I recognize and identify, because, Luke, you may have been the Kevin Huerter of Texas basketball. Well, I'm the Luke Walton, the Ron Artest, the PJ Tucker guy, where I might not show up in the box score, but I'll do the little things, because all I want to do is win, man. I'm competitive. I'm willing to rough it up a little bit. I'm willing to dive on the floor for loose balls. And so those are the kind of guys that get a team over the hump. Jay Crowder in Phoenix is that guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to be the difference maker for Phoenix. And even a guy like Patrick Beverley with the Clippers. To me, I'm convinced these are the difference makers that are required to win a championship. And they must be veterans. They've had to have been around, and they have to do the little things. So that's what I'm convinced of today. PJ Tucker and the Bucks. Let's go. What are you convinced of, Luke?
So I'm going to stay in the NBA. I'm going to preface my I'm convinced with a tweet I saw. Some guy tweeted that right now the NBA is in a nightmare situation, saying that casual basketball fans have none of the stars to watch. No Steph, no KD, no Luka, no
PJ
LeBron.
Tucker.
And he said this is not good for the league. I think that is a bunch of baloney. Ooh. I think the NBA playoffs, I love when there's parity in the league. The last 9 seasons, there haven't been. We know who's making the finals. We know who's making the conference finals. We have a good idea who's going to get to win the conference finals. This year, complete toss-up. It's incredibly exciting. It's amazing. The Western Conference Finals, I have no clue who, and again, this partly due to injuries, because LeBron's Lakers weren't healthy, the Nets not healthy, but these conference finals are going to be incredible. Hawks and Bucks, it's kind of a toss-up. The Hawks have 4 or 5 guys on the floor at all times that can create a shot. The Bucks are really good. The Suns, incredible team. Clippers, even without Kawhi, dangerous. These conference finals, I don't care that there's none of the normal superstars. It's one of the rare years where we have no idea what's going to happen. And to me, that is incredibly exciting because, again, the last 9 years, it's been, okay, yeah, we know it's going to be LeBron. We know it's going to be LeBron in the finals. Okay, the Spurs probably going to get there. And then it became, well, probably, yeah, it's going to be Cleveland and Golden State. Oh, come on. It hasn't been since the 2011 Mavericks. Shout out. Always have to give them a shout out. Kind of like your Jake Delhomme shout out counter. We got to get my Mavs 2011 shouted in there.
Hey.
But, man, for 9 years, there hasn't been a ton of parity. This year, whole new teams making it. It's incredible. So I love it. And shout out to small market teams.
Yeah.
Who,
even though Atlanta, let's remember, Atlanta's not a small market team.
But
they get lumped in.
They do get lumped in, and just like Dallas get
plenty of people in Atlanta. Let me tell you,
Atlanta not a small market. Dallas not a small market, but they feel like small markets. So I have, as a Dallas fan, who when it feels every year that Dallas is the smallest market in the United States, for a team like Milwaukee, their fan base, happy for them. For Milwaukee fans, small market, for their we've talked about this, for their superstar Giannis to stay there instead of teaming up.
Yes.
How awesome for the Milwaukee Bucks fans. So cool.
I love it. And despite to me, the Bucks are still one of the dumbest teams. Like some of their decisions down the stretch, like what was Brook Lopez doing?
Oh, so
he redeemed himself with the block.
He did.
But he doesn't even know how much time is on the clock. You come out of a timeout and you don't know what you're doing with the ball.
He wasn't even rushed. It didn't even click. He just casual pass. We'll pass it out.
It must have never entered his mind that he would get the ball on that play. Because he was totally unaware. But as goofy as he is at times, that block, oh my goodness.
Ginormous.
That was clutch. So all the different players for Milwaukee, they all contributed in like key ways, especially down the stretch. That truly was a team win led by Giannis. And I loved it. But here's one of my big takeaways as I look at the Final Four teams now in the playoffs. And I noticed this even at the beginning of the playoffs, how many retread coaches are in charge as head coaches. So here's Monty Williams, who didn't quite work in New Orleans, and it was okay, but he didn't get to this point. Now he's in Phoenix. You look at Ty Lue, who did win in Cleveland, but then they moved on from him. He kind of moved on. Now he's with the Clippers. Budenholzer, he's going to be taking on his old team. He had pretty good success in Atlanta. They moved on from him. He goes to Milwaukee, finally gets him to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan has had multiple opportunities. Here he is as an assistant coach, takes over as the interim head coach for Lloyd Pierce, and he takes the team to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just remarkable to me to think that in the NBA, the ways that GMs and owners give up on coaches, yet they give them another chance in other places.
It's so interesting
to me.
Well, it's so interesting because it's a weird dynamic. So in Brooklyn right now, D'Antoni's an assistant. How humbling of an experience to be a longtime head coach, and now he's okay. What do you think, Steve? Steve, how can I help? Like
That's
that's
right.
that's so interesting.
Dan,
D'Antoni is asking Steve, "What are we doing?" Because D'Antoni, he's gonna get another head coaching job.
Yeah.
Certainly. So yeah, it is interesting. It's such a constant cycle. It's all about finding the right fit. Can you have buy-in from your players here? Some players don't like you here, but it's weird. It's so interesting.
So now D'Antoni, like you mentioned, he's thrown around as potential replacements for multiple openings around the league. So there's going to be more movement, and so how many new guys will get a chance, and how many retreads will we see? Because you look at the Final Four, you got 4 retreads. You just saw Doc Rivers go out; he was a retread. And so we'll talk more about the Sixers in a little bit. But as you're listening, what are you convinced of? Leave it in the chat. Would love to know your thoughts on the weekend, and let's check in with Henry. Henry, what are you convinced of today? Good morning.
What's going on, boys? What I'm convinced of is the fact that, and we're going to stay in the NBA, is that if the Milwaukee Bucks don't win the NBA championship this season, then they're never going to win it. They just took out the Brooklyn Nets, a team that was supposed to be there with a bad James Harden on one leg, no Kyrie Irving, and KD having to turn into Superman, and that not being enough. They don't have to play the Sixers. They get the Hawks. This is the time that Giannis has to put his stamp on the rest of these conference finals and the NBA finals. If they don't get past the Hawks, they're never going to get to the finals.
I think it's a great take, and I agree.
I agree as well. What better year? I mean, the Bucks. You know that you're going to play it's a toss-up on what Kawhi's status is. The Suns are a really good team,
and they won without Paul.
Yeah, the Bucks. You don't even have to face LeBron once.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I agree. I mean, if they lose to the Hawks, that's nothing against the Hawks. The Hawks are a really good team, but Milwaukee should win.
They've overachieved. They are further in the process for them than we would expect. They're still a young team.
They made the playoffs because they finished this regular season like 27-11. They got super hot. They started off horrible this season. So yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has to be the best player left in these playoffs. He's a 2-time MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year. What of the last 4 teams that we have a player of that caliber? He needs to step it up huge.
Stop shooting threes. Shooting threes. Just drive and kick.
He shot a lot less threes. Check the numbers, Henry. But I was so thrilled that he stepped away from the three because when he
steps away from the three, he can always draw 2 people to him and kick it out 2 shooters.
Yeah.
So they have shooting. It's can Milwaukee get enough shooting? And they do now. So stop, Giannis. It's not your threes to take.
No.
He takes the bait. They leave him on his own island on the top of the key, and he's thinking, well, I can't get more open than this. Might as well shoot it. Don't.
Fight
the urge.
Giannis, there's a reason why they're leaving you open out there.
I know. And same with Joel Embiid. It's like, stop with the threes. Like he can hit an open three, but the one that he forced at the end of the last night's game, I mean, it's just, to me, get in the paint. Take advantage of your size and skill. I'm glad Giannis has shifted that, and he helped carry them. So let's transition because I want to talk more about this with Unpack This. So this is our segment. We talk sports, faith, and life. Good, I'm convinced from Henry and Luke. And so send in your I'm convinced. You can email Bryce at unpackingit.com. But game 7s in sports are as good as it gets. And so as we think about the way that a series builds, game 1, it's a feel-out game, and you wonder, okay, how good are both of these teams? How are they going to match up? And then after every game, and after each team wins, and then once one team wins on the other team's floor, the intensity builds, the pressure builds. More and more fans start tuning in because early in the series, you're like, all right, it's game 2. It's not as important. But once the series is on the line in game 5 and game 6, and now all of a sudden it's extended to a game 7, the intensity is there. The spotlight is there. And so then the question becomes, what players will rise to the occasion? What players will embrace the moment, the spotlight, and all that comes from playing in a game 7? And there was this comment made during an ESPN broadcast by Mark Jones that I rewound it, and I just thought, wow, there's something here from a spiritual standpoint. And so Mark Jones says, something about game 7s reveals your responsibilities and how you handle those responsibilities, the weight of those responsibilities. And in the end, you can answer the question, did those answers work for you or not? Did those responsibilities devastate you or elevate you? And so you think about, Giannis rose to the occasion. I think multiple guys on the Bucks rose to the occasion. Luke Heaton / Kevin Huerter rose to the occasion and was elevated in the moment for Atlanta in that game 7. And unfortunately for Ben Simmons, everybody's going to be piling on him today because he could not handle the moment of the fourth quarters throughout this series. He wasn't even willing to take the shot. I mean, that play last night where he gave up an easy layup or dunk to pass the ball to a teammate that was not even thinking he was going to get the ball and go up for it. That summarized that Ben Simmons was not ready for game 7, is not ready to hit the big shots, to score in those moments. And so it revealed that he couldn't carry the responsibility of being one of the highest paid players in the league, one of the young all-stars, wannabe superstars in the league. He shrunk in that moment. And so the parallel for us, especially as followers of Jesus today, is how do we handle our own game 7s and the responsibilities that we have as followers of Jesus. And the key thing here is we must rely fully on God's Holy Spirit in us, that we don't carry the weight of having to be perfect. We don't need to carry the weight of earning our salvation. We rest in the finished work of Jesus. But as we live this life, we do have responsibilities to represent Jesus in the way that we live our life. We are ambassadors. We are called to stand out. We are called to, when the spotlight is on us, to rise to the occasion and be what we're called to be. And again, we have to rely on God's Spirit to allow us to do that and empower us to do that. But how do we respond to our game 7s? And what does it reveal about our faith, about our character when we face pressure, when we face intensity, when we face the difficult, the challenging situations? And so I think part of it is we think about these responsibilities, that in those moments, we got to hit the big shots, right? We got to make the right pass, grab the rebound, so to speak. In those moments, do those responsibilities elevate us, or do they devastate us? And we crumble and we fall in those moments, or do we truly rely on the Lord to elevate us, to bring us up in those moments? And so we really let go and say, all right, God, I need you to elevate me in these moments, to pick me up in these moments. And so, what are those responsibilities when the pressure is there, when the spotlight is on us? Well, it's continuing to live the way of integrity, continuing to live the way of holiness. And really, it's our privileged duty to love and obey. That's the opportunity that we have in those moments when people are looking at us, when more people are noticing, okay, how are we going to handle this tragedy, this difficulty? How are we going to handle the stress? And are we going to crumble in those moments? I'm in a stressful season right now, and there are days where I feel like I'm crumbling, where I'm not living up to it. A baby due on the way, a young baby, just had a conference. I'm traveling tonight. I'm feeling the weight. And so in this moment, right now that I'm facing, it's a game 7 moment. Am I going to respond and rely on the Lord and continue to be faithful and continue to obey and continue to seek him for strength? Or am I going to be devastated by the moment? And am I going to crumble? And so that's what I'm feeling today. So what is that for you as you're listening? And so, as far as our responsibility as followers of Jesus and those that rely on the Lord, in Micah 6:8, it says, he has told you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you except to be just and to love and to diligently practice kindness, compassion, and to walk humbly with your God, setting aside any overblown sense of importance or self-righteousness. So it's in these game sevens, in these key moments that we continue to do what we need to do. The responsibility that is placed on us, we take it on and say, all right, Lord, I can't do this on my own. I know what I'm responsible for. I know that I need to walk humbly. I know that I can't do this in my own strength. I need to walk in compassion and kindness, but I need you to help me. And so will we do that? Will we shine in those key moments? And so that's the challenge for me today. That's the challenge for you as well. How will we not only play well in the regular season when life is good and easy, but will we take advantage of the opportunity when life gets tough, people are watching? Will we allow God to elevate us and pick us up to really shine? So there you go, Luke. Jump on in.
Yeah, you make a great point. It's twofold. So the idea of letting God, like just trusting in God to get you through things in pressure moments, it's not trusting God in a lazy way. So we're not just like, there is a responsibility in preparation. And we talk about this all the time. We don't just show up to pressure moments and say, all right, God, take it away. And we haven't spent any time in God's word. We haven't spent any time fellowshipping with God in prayer. We haven't spent any time serving. And then expect, yeah, I'll be totally fine. Yeah, God, go ahead and take it away. Like, God is faithful, and in situations, God gives us the grace to get through things. But there's a responsibility and a joy and a freedom in fellowshipping with God that prepares us for pressure moments, for moments of temptation. Like, none of us we can't just walk into an environment of temptation or a high pressure environment and say, I haven't been fellowshipping with God at all. I haven't been faithful. I haven't been really following Christ. But God's gonna God will get me through this, and then I'll go back to my own ways. That's just this idea of cheap grace is in the it's all over American culture of, I'll go to God when I need him, and then he'll bless me, and then I'll go back to my own ways. Man, you're missing out on the fellowship of God. And then we really find true success, man, when we've been studying God's word, where God has revealed himself through his word. That's how we know about him, until we fellowship with him, fellowshipping with him in prayer. And then when we get to these moments, we know, God, you've been faithful. You've been preparing me. I rely on your grace, but also I'm thankful that part of his grace is him preparing us by us being in the word. It's not just when we get to the moment, then God's grace kicks in. God's grace can kick in well before high pressure moments, as we fellowship with him, as he prepares us. So again, we totally speak against this idea of cheap grace, while also acknowledging that God's grace is totally real to be present with us in high pressure situations. But that doesn't take away our responsibility of spending time with him and preparing for those moments. Yeah.
That's right. So what will it reveal about our character and what will be revealed about our faith when the intensity and the pressure is great? And so it's an eye-opening experience when those moments happen. And I think I think about Ben Simmons from a basketball standpoint. He's having to evaluate and look in the mirror and say, man, I can't, I got something going on here. There's a disconnect between me being a great player, regular season, even the first three quarters, and then in the fourth, what happens when the pressure's great? What is happening? And so for us, if we're, I'm all in, I'm following Jesus. All right, well, now we got a curveball. Now something's happening. Now the pressure's tough. All right, where are you turning? what are you going to do? How are you going to handle this? Are you really going to trust the Lord in these moments, or are you going to be deflated and not rise?
It's totally true. Playoff basketball reveals your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like for the past few seasons, Milwaukee, true weakness, because they're going to take away Giannis's middle drive. What else do they have to go to? Same thing for us. Culture is developing in a way where you get hated for being a Christian. It's becoming harder to become a Christian in that it is not popular. Where culture is headed is Christians are hateful, and Christians are bigots, and Christians are judgmental, and we're seeing the way we define what love is and what loving and how to love someone, how to serve someone. That's not what culture sees loving and serving people. So the pressure of culture right now is revealing, okay, who's really faithful? Are you in an environment where it's easy to say the right things? It's easy to go with the flow. There's really no consequences of being a Christian. Because now things are changing where it's going to reveal, okay, where's your heart really at? Just like playoff basketball really reveals, okay, where's your game really at? Because regular season, teams aren't preparing defensively like they do in the playoffs.
That's right.
Playoffs, we're taking away your number one threat. So what else are you going to go to? Same thing in life. It's really revealing the true nature of our faith, just like playoff basketball reveals really where your game is at.
It's good. It's good stuff. So you can unpack that today. I would love to know your thoughts. You can leave any comments if you're listening live, or send me an email, bryce@unpackingit.com. And so we do unpack this each week on this show. And then we also send out a devotional through email. And so if you haven't subscribed to that yet, check out unpackingit.com and subscribe to the Unpack This devotional. We also have Unpack This devotionals available on the Bible app. So if you have the Bible app on your phone, we've got a bunch of reading plans based on specific topics, specific sports. And so you can subscribe to those as well and do the reading plans, which is a great opportunity. Not only read ours, Unpack This, but also once you're on the Bible app, some other great reading plans as well to enjoy and grow and be encouraged. So, all right, we got a lot more to get to here on the show. Before we talk golf, let me ask you this. Do you need to get your own health insurance? Well, go to healthmarketgenius.com. Know your options, healthmarketgenius.com. Support them as they support us. So the U.S. Open was yesterday, Father's Day weekend. When that happens together, it's always so much fun. And so each year, I feel like I always watch the U.S. Open, hang with my dad. This year, I actually went out. We did that and went out to the driving range. So, Luke, you play golf all the time. I haven't played golf in a number of years. I've done Top Golf maybe at one point, but with the Rona, I never got out and played golf. And so yesterday, hit the driving range. My back is sore today, but it was fun. I hit probably 2 good balls the whole day, and you go, all right. Oh, so that's how this works. And so that was fun. But then to come back and watch John Rahm win it, I definitely wanted him instead of Oosthuizen. And then to watch, Bryson crumble yet again. I mean, back to the kind of what we were just talking about. But John Rahm, this story, like I said at the beginning of the show, is wild. Such a great story. And how funny, I don't know if you thought this was funny, but watching Phil Mickelson sit on a folding chair, watching John Rahm working out or at the driving range himself.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing to me. Like him just hanging out with John Rahm's wife. Like, what are they talking about? And John's over there thinking maybe I've got to be ready for this if Oosthuizen's able to tie it up. So anyway, what was your big takeaway from Rahm winning and the overall U.S. Open?
Well, I feel like it was going to happen eventually. Rahm is he's good. The number 2 player in the world for the past 5 years. He's been clearly one of the best players in the world, and I was hoping he was going to win. He's one of those players where it's like, okay, John Rahm needs a major. He is so good. And Torrey Pines, did you see that the Torrey Pines is a just magical place for him. He had his first PGA Tour win at Torrey Pines, the Farmers Insurance Open in 2017. He proposed to his wife on the cliffs of Torrey Pines.
Yep.
And then just coming back from the Rona and just a wild experience at the Memorial to win his first major at Torrey Pines. What an unbelievable place. Like, I'm thinking,
to a golf course that way is just.
I know. I'm thinking in my life, are there any places like that where every time I go, amazing things always happen? It's just wild. And then the tournament itself was some of the most relatable golf I have ever seen in my life. It looked like a bunch of guys out at the local municipal course. They're hitting it into the rough, their next shot into the rough, into the bunker, making doubles, missing putts, chipping shots over the green. I'm like, this is incredible. Relatable golf. Come on, let's see these guys make mistakes. Like a hard golf course. But
I finally got off the couch.
It was complete chaos. It was almost like, do you want the U.S. Open? No, please, you have it. No, actually, I want you to win it. No, you go ahead. Like, Can someone take it? And then for Rahm to miss putts all day and then to make unbelievable birdie putts on 17 and 18 to go out like that. Unbelievable. And then poor Louis. 7 or 8 second place finishes in majors. He's never won in the U.S. He won the Open, and it's just wild. So many incredible storylines. The Bryson and Brooks thing, Bryson just totally imploding. It's just wild. So many great things. Great U.S. Open.
Intern Andrew told me that Bryson has never beaten Brooks during a major where there has been a crowd.
Wow.
So Brooks always beats Bryson if there's a crowd and it's a major. So he's got one up on him in that regard. So that rival continues. And I mean, I thought the leaderboard continued to be intriguing throughout the weekend, which was nice. And I was telling my dad yesterday, just the depth of golf. Like we talk about it, but it's just the consistency of the depth where, Jordan Spieth,
they didn't show one shot on TV all week.
Yeah.
So and that's for Spieth.
But you don't need it. I mean,
yeah.
I like when Spieth's in the mix. I like when Rory's in the mix. To me, those are still the two guys, I guess, Justin Johnson and Brooks. I mean, you just go on and on and on. I mean, the number of guys, the foreign guys, the American guys, I mean, all the whole mix, there is so much there. And then, poor Phil, he still can't get that US Open. We hope, do it again. Following the PGA, but I think that golf is in a great place right now, and I think Jon Rahm is a worthy winner, and he's good for golf.
Very.
I love the energy. The energy. He brought back the Tiger fist bump. I mean, everybody's got like an element of the bump or the fist pump. I
think fist pump. Yeah, fist bump is
me and Maddie, we got that going down. My daughter. But so in order to do the full up and under, I thought Rahm really committed to it, because if you watch some of the other golfers, you know what they do? They know that they're doing it because it's the natural reaction, because we all watch Tiger do it so many times. And so if we do anything great, if I actually clean the dishes, it's a full on Tiger fist pump, right? I haven't done one of those in a while, so I'm due. But it's just like you got to go for it. But the other golfers are hesitant to do it because they know that they're just copying Tiger, and they try to come up with their own little thing, but you just can't do it. That's why Phil is committed to the thumbs up. But Rahm just goes, you know what? Forget about it. I'm all in on the Tiger fist bump. Let's go. It was it's full on.
The dynamics of the fist bump. So it's actually hard to do. So I grew up doing it. Anytime I did anything with buddies, but it is actually to do the full scoop and all the way up. It's kind of awkward. It's not a natural motion to go the full scoop. So a lot of guys settle with the kind of right here, kind of the fist forward, but the full scoop, it's not easy to accomplish without looking like a total weirdo. So there is some risk to it.
But Rahm's was pretty good, right?
No, pretty good. And he's a fiery guy. So you have to bring some serious energy. You can't just kind of lackadaisical, kind of calm face, full. You got to bring whole body energy for it. So
full commitment.
Yeah, definitely full commitment.
It is a full commitment. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of they stop midway.
Yeah.
There's the fist bump midway, or some guy, you try to go up with it and that doesn't work, and you got to go down with it and that doesn't work, and
Yeah.
maybe you do a double, you're punching the air. No, it's the full tiger swoop. Keep it alive. Keep it going. You either do that or you do the Phil thumbs up. Those are your options.
Yeah, the thumbs up, very low risk, low reward. Can't mess up a thumbs up. But if you want to really make an impact, go for the full scoop fist pump. But you got to commit to it, like you said.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's run through a couple NBA topics, and then we'll jump into tap drill. So the Nets, they lose, and so I was rooting against them. I am not a fan of Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or James Harden. No D. So those three guys I do not root for, and I was glad that they were all on one team so I could root against them. And so have you not heard that?
I have, but it was just so casually thrown in there. I'm like, caught me off guard. I was like, you just brutally mispronounced Harden's last name.
James Harden. I used to say it about your boy Irk Nowitzki.
Irk.
Sorry about that.
Hey, but he made up for it with loyalty and getting one ring. So
that's right. He did. But I think, the big takeaway from this performance by Kevin Durant is it is absolutely remarkable what he's done to come back from an Achilles injury to really play better than he probably ever has. I mean, he was literally unstoppable. It didn't matter who was going to guard him. I don't know why Giannis didn't try more often to guard him. That was a little disappointing. But my boy PJ Tucker, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter who you were going to put on Durant. He was going to score at will. And he did. But my point last week on the show was I said that I was convinced that Kevin Durant can't carry a team to the NBA Finals. And I'm going to stand by that. As great as he is, I still don't think he has the personality, the leadership, the intangibles to get his team over the hump. And I know the easy answer is, if they would have had Kyrie Irving, they would have won. Ask the Cavs that when they were in the lottery every year with Kyrie Irving leading the way. So I don't buy that as the simple answer. I just, until Kevin Durant does it, to me, it's a question. What he did in Golden State, all he did was add to a great team. So that was Steph Curry's championship teams, and he was willing, because he's humble enough, to share the spotlight with Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant was awesome. He definitely contributed to those championships. But as great as Durant is as an individual talent, there's a difference between carrying your team all the way. And he was close. Trust me, he hit the big shot. Oh. It wasn't enough. And so you're talking about a couple inches, and the whole storyline and the narrative changes.
Wild.
But I'm sticking by my narrative with Kevin Durant.
I love your point about the Achilles. Can we just remember that an Achilles injury is probably one of the most career impacting injuries in all of sports.
Yeah.
Players don't come back full strength from an Achilles injury. No. It just does not happen. Kevin Durant looks like he never injured his Achilles. It's unbelievable. It cannot wrap through my mind that, he missed a whole season with a torn Achilles. That just does not happen. I was just reading through stats. Careers are completely affected for most players after an Achilles injury. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those where, and you hear every announcer, when someone they're limping, they look back, it's like, oh no, is that Achilles? Oh, and it's just a sigh. Like, that's a 12-month rehab.
Yeah.
And we're just not sure if they'll ever be the same. So Klay Thompson hasn't come back yet, and that's been ACL and Achilles, which is just brutal.
Man.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Dude, yesterday I'm watching the Clippers game. I go, DeMarcus Cousins is on the Clippers? I totally missed it. I was shocked to see him out on the court.
Oh, no,
DeMarcus Cousins, that poor guy. I mean, you're right. I mean, he has not come back. He was one of the elite young potential guys coming into the league.
100%.
Oh, my God.
So let me ask you this. Which player out of these two I'm about to name is the most surprising if before they became journeymen? If I would have told you, this player is about to be a career journeyman, would you have been more surprised? DeMarcus Cousins or Dwight Howard? For me, it's Dwight Howard. to think that he has become such a journeyman. I would have never thought that when he was in Orlando. I thought he'd be a 14, 15-year guy, premier player. I didn't think he was going to be going from team to team. Yeah, can you just rim, run, and rebound? That's all we really need you for. He was one of the best players in the league.
So
Crazy.
as a Bobcats fan, it was devastating because we got Emeka Okafor and the Magic got Dwight Howard. So that was back in 2004, I guess. So, Emeka Okafor has been out of the league for a number of years. He did make a little comeback, but Howard still he has had a Hall of Fame career. But you're right. He's bounced around. He's never fit in many locker rooms. He hasn't gotten along with coaches. And, it's interesting when these guys come into the league as 18-year-olds, they have to grow and become, who they are in the spotlight, right? And to me, who Howard was coming into the league to who he is now, just as a personality, and when you watch him, is very interesting too. Just the scope or lack of growth or different, just the way that he is.
He was one of the biggest showmen, well-liked guys. Yeah. He was almost like the next Shaq, personality-wise. Dancing, NBA dunk contests, Superman.
Yeah. Now he's always complaining with the refs. And
that is a good point. And he's changed his look as well.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. I think of what I was like at 18, the growth I've had from 18 to 23. I was
Especially the summer you had it unpacking it.
100%. One of the biggest summers of my life. Actually, great summer, though.
That's right.
But I was a different person at 18. End of high school versus now, completely different. To think of them at 18 having to grow, like you said, in the spotlight, oh my gosh. I mean, these aren't even men yet. They're boys.
And that leads to one more point that I wanted to make today with Ben Simmons is, with our parallel that we were talking about, rising to the occasion in a game 7, I think that's very true. But I think we also have to take a step back and recognize that Ben Simmons is only 24 years old.
That's crazy.
And to write him off that he'll never have it or never, I think that's a dangerous leap to make. I think, in today's NBA world, we expect these guys to come in and be superstars right away. And then we write off a guy like Julius Randle. And, maybe he wasn't the right fit in LA and they were going through all those changes and they ship him out of town. He goes to the Knicks. He's the perfect fit. He's an all NBA player. And then Devin Booker, it took him a few years to really, emerge as a potential superstar. He's right on the cusp, already game 1, leading his team to victory and even what he did last year. And so you see the development, but he's still in his early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
We write these guys off, and like a guy that I think is lost out in Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns.
100%.
I don't think we give up on him just yet. He could still have a great second half to his career. I'm not sure if it's going to be in Minnesota. I hate that. It's just kind of a dark hole there. And then, for us to write off even Trae Young, and now we're seeing what he can do. We got to give these guys a little bit of patience.
100%. Julius Randle, 26 years old. It feels like he's had an entire 15-year career. It's not like the dude's 35. He's 26. Karl Anthony Towns is 25.
That's it.
25.
Don't write him off.
Some dudes come into the league. If they play all 4 years in college, they come to the league at 22, 23.
Yeah, that's it.
And he's 25. These dudes are coming in at age 19. Man, they have not only emotional and mental growth, their bodies are still developing.
That's right. Yep. Now, it may be the case that Ben Simmons needs a new location, that Philadelphia, kind of like Carson Wentz. I'm all in on Carson Wentz in Indy. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to work out. And maybe Ben Simmons is just not going to work out in Philadelphia. He's not what they need him to be, and he just can't live up to it. The pressure's too great. The expectations are too great. And at 24, I think another team has to be willing to give him a shot. And maybe help him figure out how to shoot and get a shot, right?
Yeah.
Give him a shot and actually give him a shot, because the other talent is there. And my whole thing too, guys that are great defenders oftentimes are undervalued and underrated, because we think back to Ben Wallace and there was a lot of question marks. I think we talked about on the show that he doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer. Well, he was one of the best defenders in the league for a number of years, helped the Pistons win an NBA championship. He was very valuable. No, he wasn't a scorer, but that wasn't his role.
Yeah.
Now, with Ben Simmons, as a guard, you still have to be able to shoot. It doesn't mean that he needs to be a 30-point scorer, but John Stockton, Steve Nash, like those guys weren't scoring point guards. They were great passers. But if you needed John Stockton to hit an open jumper at the elbow, he was going to knock it down. And he was going to knock it down at a high percentage.
Even Rondo can hit jumpers.
That's a great point. Rondo can. You don't want to rely on him. You don't want him shooting the three. Stay away from the three, Rondo. But if you need a key bucket and he can get to the paint, he'll take it. He'll take the shot. He's not afraid to take it.
He's good enough where you can't leave him on an island.
That's right.
And it opens up the floor. So I agree. By no means can we write off Ben Simmons. Can we say, hey, you probably need to change this or add this to your game? 100%. Do you maybe need a new situation? Definitely. But the dude is still an all-NBA defender and a 6'10 guard that can handle the rock and pass like crazy. If you don't think he can be an unbelievably important piece to a championship team, you're crazy. He is an incredibly unique game. Let's get an average, maybe slightly below average jump shot, because it's just not even, he doesn't even shoot the ball. And look, I lost confidence during moments in high school. It's debilitating. You cannot play when you lose confidence. And he talked, and he just looks like, I'm scared to get fouled because I'll have to shoot free throws and I'll miss them. He's such a I cannot shoot the ball mentality. And it's obvious. And I've experienced that. It completely shuts your game down.
Mm. You were able to regain your confidence last night, right?
I was able to come back for a huge Game 7 win. So I appreciate Coach McMillan really coaching me up and getting me ready.
I mean, Kevin Huerter, unbelievable.
Awesome. So awesome. He was great. Creating shots, hitting big time shots.
I mean, we haven't seen a guy it's just crazy. It's funny. I've been looking through my old basketball cards, and there were some goofy guys back in the early 90s and just guys you look at and go, wait, what? This guy's an NBA player? And to me, Kevin Huerter's that guy. You're like, this guy's an NBA player? But he was an assassin last night.
An assassin.
He's the real deal.
It's like we joked about Brian Scalabrine. He was the pride of redheads in the NBA. But Kevin Huerter is a legit, very good player. Scalabrine was a bench guy, locker room guy.
Yeah, the Mark Madsons of the world.
But
the Bryce Johnsons of the world.
Hey, but not in the swimming pool.
That's right.
You were a Dennis Rodman in the swimming pool. Splashing the people in the lanes next to you, maybe jab them under the water.
Whatever it took. In the water polo, yeah.
Did you play water polo?
Oh, yeah. That's the hardest sport there is.
100%. Because you're treading water the whole time, right?
It is. The physicality that water polo requires is unreal. That's a Summer Olympic. Yeah, a Summer Olympic game. Watch water polo. Those guys are studs. They are elite swimmers, and they're athletic. They can throw and catch, and
it's physical.
What goes on under the water is just nuts. So
let me highlight a sport real quick. So yesterday, I played pickleball. So
what are you, 75?
Here's the thing: I got smoked by a 70-year-old. Absolutely smoked. Here's the thing: I was talking to my buddy Dalton. He is a big tennis guy, and I told him, I was like, dude, I played pickleball, and I got absolutely annihilated by an older gentleman. Great guy, cooked me. He was running me all over the court. And he was like, dude, racket sports or paddle sports, it's older guys can play because they just place the ball. You can't out-athlete people. I've tried to out-athlete people in tennis. I get destroyed. Pickleball, he's faking left, hitting right. He's almost breaking my ankles with shots. He beat me 11. I was up. It was 3-3 tied. And they ended up beating me 11-6. He wasn't even breathing hard. I was gassed. I was very humbling experience. Very fun game though. So
step your game up. So yesterday, my dad shows up to hang out for Father's Day. He's wearing his pickleball shirt.
Oh,
it says where he lives, his neighborhood pickleball team.
Hey,
he's got a team shirt.
No, it is
pickleball shirt.
It is serious business with these pickleball players. It is unbelievable. So like we took like a class. It was learn the rules, learn how to play. I'm thinking I've played once. I kind of know how it is. And they're like, Luke, yeah, go ahead and play him one-on-one. I'm like, yeah, fine. Yeah, I'll probably fine. No chance. His serves were unbelievable. 1,000 miles an hour spin. It was crazy.
Oh man. Oh, that's great. That is rich. All right, there you go. All right, let's bring on Henry. We'll wrap up the show with Tap Drill. Thanks everybody hanging out, listening to us live today. And those of you that listen to the podcast, greatly appreciate your support. We'd love to wrap things up with a little bit of fun as we bring on Henry in Connecticut. Henry, what's up, man?
What's going on, boys? Once again, it's time for Tap Drill, the segment that comes through, that always comes through in the clutch. We're going to start off with a little football. Now, here's the latest drama with Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. We just found out that Aaron Rodgers just renewed his membership to the Green Bay Country Club for the rest of the season. Doing too much, or is this actually news?
You know what's funny is those types of stories end up like playing out. Like when you hear the news that a player has signed his kids up for a private school or something, and they're enrolled for school, or the wife has been involved with something in the community in a certain city, like those players end up moving to those cities before we even kind of knew that was official. So I'm willing to see this as an indicator that Aaron Rodgers is planning to stick around in Green Bay if he's got that country club membership, unless the grilled chicken sandwiches are just so good that he's going to be back for that. I don't know, but
why don't we embrace a conspiracy? Let's stencil it on the billboards, on the walls, on all the streets. He's going to be the Jeopardy host, but he loves playing golf at this country club. So it's just a little vacation. Man, I'm a little tired from
Green Bay.
I'm a little tired. Hey, maybe he loves the. Hey, here's the thing: if you're a golfer, maybe he is just embedded in the minds of all the golfers there, and he's winning big bucks on a little golf course gambling. So maybe a little tough week at Jeopardy, really stressful. Let me get away. Let me head to Green Bay. Let me head to the country club. Let me win a few $1,000s from these guys. So let's just embrace that as a possibility.
Days of our lives, Green Bay style. Who'd have thunk it? All right, staying in the NFL. Remember the commercial where the Madden 22 game was about to come out, and they had two goats, and you had the picture. You had the two goats coming out of the barn. Well, the two goats that they're talking about are, of course, Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady and Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes. You guys good with the Madden 22 cover?
So have we figured out, has the Madden curse continued the last few years? So I
thought Mahomes broke it, or Tom Brady broke. It was broken within the last few years, I think.
Okay, so that's the key, because it's risky to put both of them on there. Now, is it just a coincidence? I don't know, but it is always, I always get nervous. I try to avoid the guys in fantasy, whoever's on the Madden cover, because it's just been too consistent over the years, and sometimes it's just a product of a guy being so hyped up. Wasn't Peyton Hillis? Was he on the cover of Madden?
Peyton Hillis, yeah, poor guy,
right?
Having an up and coming career. Let's stick him on the Madden cover, and he's like, "Dude, you guys are ruining my career by putting me on this thing."
He had one good season, and he ends up as a Madden cover. I think that was the end of my Madden playing days as well.
That was tough.
I think I still have like Madden 20. Gosh, what year was that? 2015. I still play with it every once in a while. It's like my old Panthers rosters. I every once in a while, but I haven't played Madden. I mean, I used to play it on N64. So that's how my video game playing days ended, back with the 64.
Oh man, I had my first Madden was Madden 07 with Sean Alexander on the cover.
Ooh.
That was a fun one.
He's been a guest on Unpacking It. I like Sean Alexander. I didn't like him with Seattle, because the Panthers were always playing Seattle in the playoffs. But
was he a Heisman candidate? Do you remember? Because he played at Bama, right?
Yeah, he was a great college player. He had a great freshman year, because now he's got an award for great freshman players.
Okay.
Named after him, the Sean Alexander Award. So, all right, what's next, Henry?
We'll see if the Madden curse makes a comeback or not. Let's go over back to the NBA. And I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the Atlanta Hawks press conference, but John Collins was sitting at the microphone and he had a T-shirt with the picture of him dunking on Joel Embiid. You guys love it, or is he just trolling?
I love it. That's fantastic. That's such a great once you've won the series, like to go out like that. I'm a fan of John Collins. I love the way he plays. I actually wouldn't mind the Charlotte Hornets going out and getting him. He's a restricted free agent. So offer him a big deal. I think he's a rising star, does the little things. And, Joel Embiid is such a big personality. So to do this to him, I'm okay with. Now, certain guys that don't talk trash, if you did it to them or whatever, that's one thing. But Joel Embiid, that's good. That creates a little rivalry. I love it.
I'm just not a guy to stir up things like that. I would never show up to a game because I would, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if we lose, this is embarrassing.
Wait, did he do it before the game or after the game? What was it, Henry?
No, he did it. He had the T-shirt on in the middle of the press conference after the game.
Oh, okay.
That's good, Luke. It's after the game. They've won. They won the series.
Hey, but fair. To your point, though, I think I want the Mavs to go after him, so I'm
maybe
to cool down over there in Charlotte.
He's a rising star at the power forward position. So
can shoot the three. Awesome player.
John Collins looking like he's about to get paid off of these playoffs. Next tap, we're going to go toward your alley, guys. The Travelers Championship, who golfers called the fifth major, is coming to Connecticut. It's a really big deal for us. And it's a big deal because, one, it's back in front of fans. And secondly, 9 of the top 10 golfers are going to be here. And yours truly is going to be covering it for iHeartRadio Connecticut. Boys, what should I be looking out for?
Wow. That's exciting, man. So what's your role during the tournament?
Well, I'm going to be doing video for the Rob Dibble show out here in Hartford, and they're going to have the guys come on set. We have a couple of the guys come on set and stop by and chat for a little bit. The Rob Dibble show favorite golfer, believe it or not, is Tony Finau.
Oh,
the guys love Tony Finau.
Everybody loves Finau. So Rob Dibble, he's still on radio. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. In Connecticut, he's huge.
I used to watch him growing up. Okay, cool. All right, Rob Dibble, legend.
Yeah,
so unfortunate about so my wife works for Travelers, and last year she was going to be able to volunteer at the tournament in the VIP tent, just kind of walking around making sure all the VIPs needed everything they needed, anything, and then the tournament gets canceled. So unfortunate, but I have got a Travelers Peter Millar discounted golf shirt in the mail on the way to the crib. So thankful for my wife, the connection at Travelers. Henry, I will say, just the sound of the ball coming off their clubs. It is unlike anything you'll ever hear from an amateur. It's ridiculous. And how hard they swing. It's crazy.
I'm definitely going to send you guys some pictures and some video of all my work down there. All right. And one last tap, and this is near and dear to my heart because it's an ode to Father's Day. Catcher Logan Michaels, who is in the College World Series, who rarely hits a home run, hit a home run on Father's Day in front of his father, who is a pancreatic cancer survivor.
Wow.
You gotta love Father's Day. I believe, and I'm convinced, Father's Day is the best day in sports.
Oh, little Mother's Day rivalry, huh?
Man, that's cool. But it's awesome too. Like with the U.S. Open, John Rahm winning as a dad.
That was cool. Yeah,
that was neat. Because
really
it probably doesn't happen every year. But whether the dad's there or a son is there, a daughter there, that's cool. So that's a neat thing. So and then I thought Trae Young giving his jersey to his dad was cool at the end.
That was cool. Let me ask you this, guys. So my in-laws, Madeline's parents, yesterday, Father's Day and their anniversary. So let me ask you guys, how do you navigate the day? Is it more Father's Day, more anniversary, maybe postpone the anniversary, something? I don't know. So
that's a great question. So you probably realize this. I've probably mentioned it before, but Jody and our anniversary is the same day as Maddie's birthday.
Ooh.
So we have to navigate in a big way. So I would say in that scenario, I'd go all in on Father's Day that day, and then the anniversary can be moved around a little bit, because I think we'll do the same with Maddie. We'll celebrate Maddie on her birthday, and then we'll move the anniversary around as we can. So
Gotcha.
Our second daughter's due right around the same day. So who knows? If we hit a trifecta, that would be unbelievable. We may have to be on the Oprah show or something if that happens. So that's my dream. I just want to be on the Oprah show one day.
Well, the anniversary for us is easier. It's easier for the anniversary for us because our anniversary is the week before Father's Day, but we have to navigate around it slightly because my son's birthday is this year was actually the day before Father's Day. His birthday was Saturday, and then Father's Day was Sunday. As a matter of fact, we had a Father's Day service at our church where my son did a great job as an MC. So shout out to Amani Lucas for MCing Restoration Springs Father's Day service.
Very strong. Very strong. So Bryce, what's this obsession with the Oprah show that I'm just now finding out about? You haven't really mentioned Oprah, but the can of worms is officially opened here. She's
a legend. She's one of the best interviewers of all time. And it's someone who has studied the art of interviewing. You can't overlook her skills and ability to get people to open up. And so she always, when I was growing up, my mom always had Oprah on 4 o'clock every day. It was on in the house. Whatever else was going on.
The Johnson brothers gathering around the TV. Mom, maybe just before dinner, can we watch Oprah?
No, I wouldn't go that far, but it was on. So every once in a while, you'd catch it. You'd walk by, and on my way to go play basketball in the driveway or something. And, tears were being shed on the Oprah show, and you're just wondering, wait, what's going on here? What cool story is going on here?
Your brothers are outside. Bryce, we started playing an hour ago. Sorry, guys. I sat down. Oprah's not over. I'm not in the mood to play anymore.
I just want to end up on her. She doesn't have the official Oprah show anymore, but she's still doing something. So anyway, I don't know how we're going to end on an Oprah note. Is that what we're doing? The interns don't even know who Oprah is. The interns don't even know who Jim Rome is, let alone who Oprah is.
Oh, no.
Hey, it's a new wave. It's a new era.
I know. Can you believe the interns don't know who Jim Rome is? It's so upsetting.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The legend of sports radio. The godfather of sports radio. So, Romy, rack 'em.
Well, these kids don't know what they're missing.
Clones. Great show. Great work out of you. Henry, have a good one.
Yes,
Incredible day.
I was doing we're listening to the NBA playoffs, so I was trying to do a Marv Albert impersonation for Madeline, but I just couldn't get to the level that you're at. Yes! Good! It's good!
Rejected! Rejected!
Garbage time.
For 3! It's good!
For three. So I've been reading this book for Maddie called Corduroy. And there's a part, Harrison knows Corduroy. Nice. It's a classic children's book. Maddie wants me to read it every night. But there's a moment in the book where little Corduroy, who's a stuffed animal bear, falls off the bed. And so every time I read it, I go, bang! Bang! Shout out to Mike Breen. Bang!
You ever get the double bang?
Bang, bang! Well, then Maddie will throw in the bang, too. So it's fun.
Did you get the fist pump in when you did the bang?
The full scoop.
Full scoop. Full scoop. Full circle. That's Unpacking It here on a Monday. Thanks to Henry and Luke and our interns, Harrison and Andrew, our producer, Chris. And shout out to Kyle, who did a great job for Man Up Charlotte over the weekend, our director of events here at Unpacking It. So a lot of people work hard behind the scenes. Shout out to my mom and wife as well. They're a part of the Unpacking It staff. And shout out to my dad. Happy Father's Day. We had a fun day yesterday. Driving range, watching golf, eating barbecue. Fun day. So have a great week. We will talk to you next Monday. Enjoy the conference finals in the NBA playoffs. I know I will. And Luke, looking forward to seeing you in Dallas tomorrow night. We'll recap our big dinner next Monday on the show.
I got a big game in store.
That's right. That's right. I'm Bryce Johnson. I'm a sports fan who follows Jesus. I believe in the good news that he died on the cross for my sin. He was resurrected. And through faith, I've been saved by his grace. I hope that is true for you as well. And I hope you'll join me as we live life as sports fans who follow Jesus together. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. This has been the Unpacking It Live podcast.